in the town in Bury Park, Potwering, Marsh Farm, and I've kind of come back and kind of I'm working in the town. But before we kind of get underway, just a couple of housekeeping and good race relations. This conference is about delivering race equality and good race relations. The aim of today is to explore how race relations can be improved within all sections of our community, specifically here in Luton, but kind of in the wider region. And as many of you may know, that Luton's population consists almost of 30% black and ethnic minority communities. So it's 30% of the kind of total population of Luton is of black and ethnic minority origin. And we see this as a reason to celebrate the diversity of our communities in Luton. The African Caribbean arena has kept Black History Month in Luton alive for the past 4 years, and they are always looking for new ideas and events that will promote and celebrate the history and culture and people of African and Caribbean descent. They welcome the participation of all members of the community, and on behalf of the committee, we would like to welcome you and thank you for your participation today, which I believe has been produced locally, and it's a local perspective on Black History Month. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget to turn off your mobile phones while you're there.
Now, as part of the conference, what we've done is we've gone out to the local community and we wanted to find out from the community just what Black History Month means to them and the sort of things that they would like to see incorporated into Black History Month.
For me, it's an opportunity to celebrate our achievements and our talents and make it known on a wider scale so that it goes out nationwide so that people can see our abilities and our children can learn about what it is that African descendants can achieve.
I think it needs to be publicised more because only in leaflets you see it and you don't really see a lot of it. And like by the time you want to go to think, it's like one too late to bring in one class and have a chance to go and see. And maybe stuff needs to be a little bit more focused to the younger generation, some of them that can know about Black History Month.
Yeah, in our school, in Demi High School, we do a lot of things with Black History Month. We have ceremonies about it, and we do projects about Black History Month in our class. We have conversations about it. In our assemblies, our head teacher and she reads out stories about Black History Month and what happened. For our school, we have
in schools we should have cooking, Caribbean cooking, the same way they have, when it's Diwali, they try and make, they teach us how to make hummus samosas. We should have, when it's Black History Month, in schools they should be trying to teach the children how to make simple dishes like rice and peas or coconut drops or corned beef and rice, simple things. Yeah.
I would like to see the schools doing more because as far as I'm concerned, at the moment it's very limited in what they actually teach the children in the schools about Black history. And focusing on other boroughs and other counties, they seem to do a lot more. And even like places like, yes, Black people may not have been in England for as long as well as maybe in America, but if you look in America in comparison to England, what they do with the children when it's Black History Month, it's celebrated all over, there's a lot more publicity. It's getting a bit better now, but it still needs to meet a wider market. At the moment, it's still very enclosed, and I think that is important, that it's publicised more, and I think it should be diversified, yes, but it needs to be controlled with that diversity. I think as a local community we do quite a bit, but it would be nice actually on a wider scale. It seems to be that we tend to do things in groups, and there are bunches of people each doing their own little thing, which yes, it does generate lots of activities, but it would be nice actually, as a black community, to actually work in unity as a community and produce something on a much wider scale. That's the first thing. As for it being just for African descendants, it is Black History Month, and it's the only forum, it's the only time that we have really to celebrate our skills, our talents, our achievements, and look back on our history. It is actually that only point in time that I can remember that we have the opportunity to do that. Obviously, because lots of us are Christians, so as you know, there aren't any separate religious activities and celebrations going on for us, so it is definitely something that it would be nice to be kept as a celebration of African achievement and skills. I was only really aware of Black History Month, I have to say, and I think this is very important, since we got involved in Saturday School actually, which is about 5 years ago. So all that time, from the time we've been growing up, we're born in England, born in Luton, and we've been going to school, nothing was ever taught to us. We're taught about the Anglo-Saxons and Vikings, yeah, and everything else, but we're never ever taught about the achievements of Black people. I'm not talking about just Caribbean, Africa, but Black people on the whole. You know, there's nothing ever taught, and I think it's really important. That's what I'd like to strive for. That it is important that the children are taught about their history, and it's included as part of the curriculum, because that is the only way. Maybe that will help to stem some of these problems that we're having in the wider community. You know, that will probably help them to actually feel, as I said, the feel-good factor about themselves. And I just think that, you know, we have to continue, and we just have to spread it and develop it so that it's wider and it's a lot more publicised.
Firstly, the same way that my children go to a Catholic school and they learn about Diwali, they learn about Christianity, I would like to have a bit of Black History Month in there so that the other children in the school can learn about it too. It's not only for the Black children to know and understand, it's for the bigger, wider range of people to understand that as well, that Black people have a history, that Black people have achieved great things in life, and we have got things that we need to celebrate. And it's not only for us to know, they need to know this too.
We have a purpose. We were born just like any other race, just like any other color, and we're all here to work together because we're here together, right? But we can't do that if we don't know about each other.
We have to go back to when we first came here, the way things were and what was happening then, for children to understand where they're coming from and why certain things happen. Because, you know, the young people, they don't really understand. Everything is nice and roses, or lots of things, I shouldn't say everything. Lots of things are much better now than they used to be. And so they don't understand why people get angry about certain things and why certain things happen. And this is why they need to understand, especially during Black History Month.
Trying to get into the youth today, that's important that they get the vision and stick with that vision and reach for the stars that are there for them, not just for the next person. It's there for them, and it can be achieved. But they just have to stay together, stick together, because unity is also strength. And that's what Black History Month is about. It brings it all back. It brings it all back to life. And it's to remind the youth that yesterday was their parents, but tomorrow is theirs. It's already been fought for. The price has already been paid, and it's up to them to claim that.
Should Black History Month be more diverse? In my opinion, I think it should be centered mostly on African, Caribbean heritage. We don't have any other time of the year to celebrate our heritage, and I think it should remain ours.
For the last last 7 years dealing with equalities issues in the town. And Val is going to share with us her thoughts on single equality and the Human Rights Commission. So Val, if you'd like to.
Good morning. I think I'd like to start, and I know that looking at the audience here, there are lots of people who probably are going to be hearing about the Single Equality and Human Rights Commission for the first time. But you would have heard of the Commission for Racial Equality, hopefully, and the Disability Rights Commission that champions the cause of people with disability, and also the Equal Opportunities Commission that is responsible for equality and gender issues. The reason for this presentation is really because to update you on the changes that will be taking place over the next few years. The government started consultation, well, they've been consulting now for the best part of a year on the new proposals to introduce a Single Equality and Human Rights Commission. The proposed Commission for Equality and Human Rights will take over the responsibilities of the Commission for Racial Equality, the Equal Opportunities Commission, and the Disability Rights Commission. Now, those three bodies have been in existence for some time. Certainly, the CRE and the Equal Opportunities Commission has been in existence for almost 30 years, but certainly well over 20 years. The DRC, however, has only been in existence since 2000. So in fact, it's a little way behind the other two commissions. The reason behind the proposal is that the government wants to make the equalities bodies more effective and better able to handle new legislation, including the Human Rights Act and the European Union directives on equality in the workplace. You may have heard about the other pieces of legislation. Certainly the two new pieces that came into force in December of last year. The Sexual Orientation Regulation and the Religion, Faith and Belief Regulation. There are no commissions for those two pieces of legislation, and we're expecting regulations on age in 2006. There isn't a separate commission either for human rights. And in terms of joined up thinking, the government's intention is to have a single body to oversee or to manage equalities in general terms, but also to help promote human rights. And later on in my presentation, you will see where they're saying there are some synergies, there are benefits to having one commission that promotes equality as well as promote human rights. But there are some concerns which I'm going to be going through in the other slides. In my presentation, I will only be focusing on the concerns by two of the main commissions, the DRC and the CRE, mainly because their concerns are similar. Okay, in terms of the underpinning principles then, the government wants to promote equality in society and the understanding of the importance of equality and human rights to a prosperous and cohesive society. I haven't mentioned community cohesion, but community cohesion, many of you will know, is one of the themes running through at the moment, and there is a community cohesion strategy that is being promoted. In Luton, it's been said that we've been quite lucky in that we haven't had similar problems to the problems in the north of the country in terms of rights and so forth. Nevertheless, many of you will know that Luton Borough Council carried out a study into the issues in Luton with regard to community cohesion, and the report on the whole was fairly positive. Luton Borough Council has, in collaboration with its partners, other public bodies in Luton, have produced a document which is called Sticking Together, and set out a range of actions, about 10 actions that it intends to take over the coming years. The government also want to give full attention to the needs of individual groups that receive specific protection from discrimination through legislation, although later on you'll see that some of the commissions are very skeptical about this. Just continue with the underlying principles. Also providing a single source of information on human rights and equalities issues for businesses and other bodies. The CRE has for many years been producing codes of practices and good practice guidelines and so forth for public bodies. That's not been the case for some of the other commissions. And in fact, just to give you, well, I won't give you an example yet, but this principle poses a lot of difficulties for the existing commissions, who will have the most to lose. And I say the existing commissions, I'm talking about the CRE, the DRC and the Equal Opportunities Commission, because they don't believe that a single body can provide the kind of information that will be required, the specific information that will be required on all equality issues. They want to mainstream equality and human rights in the public sector. And it's true that human rights, has taken a back seat. The promotion of human rights has taken a back seat. Certainly, that is the case in Luton and the way we approach equality issues. They want to develop new and modern enforcement tools, but again, they haven't said how they will do it, and this is a source of concern, particularly for the CRE, who has enforcement powers. They want to promote community cohesion through support for local dialogue and understanding between different communities and different groups. And I think it's true to say that the three existing commissions support a review of existing legislation. They support that because they can see that there are gaps in the current provisions. But I think where the disagreement comes is about how to achieve that. So the options then for the new arrangements that the government's proposing, I should tell you don't need to take any notes, there is a handout in your pack. The options for the new arrangements are a single statutory body that offers integrated guidance and support to individuals and business through a single gateway. And again, as I've said before, this is where some problems are, because the three commissions are saying that they don't believe that a single body would be able to provide the kind of expertise that would be required to enable individuals, businesses, and the public authority and the public bodies to deliver on the duties that they have. An overarching commission involving closer working between the existing commissions and some shared use of resources. This is preferable to the existing commissions, but they are worried about the other strands that has no framework in place, namely the sexual orientation regulation, the regulation on religion, faith and belief, and there are lots of issues around that and exactly what we mean by religion, faith and belief, and also the regulations on age. as I'd said, I want to look at the concerns of two of the commissions, and in particular, the race, the CRE. They felt that stakeholders may lose out on expertise and representation, something that I've said already. And the expertise and the focus is if you have this big body where you have different people giving information without the expertise or without being able to be referred to specialist officers, then people are going to lose out. Representation at the moment, some of the commissions, and the CRE in particular, is able to take cases, support employment tribunal cases, and they fear that people may lose out. The erosion of resources available to all strands in the quality of services, again, is another issue that they have. A single equality and human rights body need to be backed up by stronger laws on equality. And this is a particular concern of the Equal Opportunities Commission. And they were in fact saying that you would need stronger legislation on gender equality. But in fact, it's an issue for the three commissions because there are gaps, there are discrepancies. The disability, the DRC, for example, is saying that the DDA has several gaps in it. The CRE has a positive duty to promote equality. The other two commissions don't have that duty. There is a bill at the moment, a disability bill, that will give, that will provide that duty to promote, to positively promote disability. So there are some gaps in existing legislation, and that would need to be harmonized. And they feel that the new body will end up with diluted powers because the agenda will be so big. It's not just the 6 strands of equality, but also human rights and community cohesion as well. Okay, so response then from the CRE. They support the aim of increasing progress towards greater equality. They're committed to joint working in the cause of equality, but they reject the proposals as a basis for that progress. And you can see that they are saying that the proposals, if implemented, would weaken the cause of equality and race in particular. And again, it's the emphasis on who does what, who decides what resources will be given. These new commissioners that you'll have in this new body, are they going to be expert in the field? Are they going to be, putting race first, if you like, because this is what probably the CRE would want. And in fact, the same would be the case for the DRC. They would be arguing for special treatment, if you like, for disability issues. And it will reduce the CRE's impact on authority. And you can see that some of these arguments are true, because in the past, the CRE was the only organization or the only commission to introduce a standard, the CRE standard, which of the last few years, which I think has made a big impact on the way public bodies, and particularly local authorities, deliver their services. And it is also an audit commission indicator. That was changed a few years back to take on board or to address issues around gender and disability. So the CRE standard has now become a generic standard which covers disability and gender. But you can see that that can be extended to cover the other areas. So CRE won't be putting forward specific proposals to move race forward. It will be dealing with generic issues. And there is a cause for concern where people will say, well, if you start looking across generally, then race is going to lose out. And this is where this concern is coming from. I'll continue on the response from the CRE. They've said that any policy that affects equality should be subjected to several tests, and they've set some tests. They've asked themselves the question, is it right in principle? Will it work in practice? And is it better than what we have now? And they've said, the conclusion that they've come to is that this new commission has failed the test on all three grounds, because the time hasn't been spent in working with the existing three commissions to try and plug the gap and to see how they can deliver on the new strands. I'll keep repeating them because I know if you're not familiar with them, you'll forget them. The age, the sexual orientation regulation, and also religion, faith and belief. And in actual fact, the CRE did put forward a proposal to the government for dealing with religion, faith and belief, but that wasn't accepted. I'll go on to the response from the DRC. The DRC would want, Disability Rights Commission would want a high priority preserve for tackling disability and other strand-specific discrimination. The strand-specific discrimination would be disability issues, race issues, gender issues, religion, faith, belief issues, age issues, and so forth. And I suppose the last one is, they say that a single equality board would need from the start to operate within a common framework of rights and obligations covering all strands. And as I've said before, that doesn't exist at the present because different legislation does different things, and there are gaps in the disability legislation, and recently we've had an amendment to the Race Relations Act as well. So people, there isn't a level playing field. The DRC also said that there will be a need to retain a strong disability and other strand-specific emphasis and structure. And you can see the CRE is making similar arguments, that the consultation document has not made the case for a single equality body convincingly, that the consultation document ignores the question of new legislation to harmonize rights and obligations across the 6 strands of equality. And here, what they're referring to is an Equalities Act that would give, that having done a review of where the gaps are and looking at all the equality legislation that exists today, bringing those together in a single Equalities Act. There is a strong case for an arrangement whereby a single equality body could enforce and promote the effective operation of the Human Rights Act, so that they've accepted that. But already you can see what some of the concerns are. It is true to say that the Joint Committee, I think it's called the Joint Committee for Human Rights, believes that there is a case for linking the promotion of human rights, promotion and protection of human rights, to the promotion of equality. They think that there is a synergy there, and I think that the commissions aren't saying that that isn't the case. They accept that. So is this the right time for a commission for equality and human rights? Well, both the CRE and the DRC says no, as the process of amalgamation and expansion would become the priority at a time when there is need for effective and proactive work on equality. And the CRE, what the CRE is saying is that they have a lot to do. They have been asked to lead on race equality and community cohesion strategies. There is still a lot for them to do, and now isn't the right time. The DRC wants this new bill that will give, that will bring in a positive duty to promote disability equality. So they've still got a lot to do, and as a result, they don't think this is the right time. They also say that until various discrimination laws have been unified and leveled upwards, there will be legislative differences between the protected grounds and within them. So there's no uniformity within the protection that's afforded to the 6 groups at the moment. And that could lead to unequal treatment, if you like, or unequal distribution of resources if you were to have this one single body. They're urging the government to review its position and to allow the existing commissions to work together to find a more effective and realistic blueprint. But I think, I don't think that is a realistic option. The government set their heart on bringing in and equalities, bringing in a single body to promote equality and human rights. And they have consulted, I think they've listened to the views, but I think the intention is to go ahead with a single equality body, certainly by the end of 2006. That is the intention. So in conclusion then, has a positive and conclusive case been made to abandon the specific equality commissions and replace them with a single organisation? And the voices of the commissions at the moment, certainly where they're coming from, they're saying no, it hasn't. This case has not been made. They're saying that the proposals fail to respond to the needs of those outside the framework of the equality law, that there's no prospect of a single equality law before the setting up of the Commission for Equality and Human Rights in 2006. And the single equality body, however composed, will need strand specialists, which are going to be mini commissions, to ensure a focus on each strand, as well as specialist teams in the legal units. That is the end of the presentation. I'm quite happy to take any questions either now or later.
The presentation that's just been made about the single Equality and Human Rights Commission. Obviously, there are, there are major implications on specifically race equality issues that concern, the delivery of race equality and good race relations in the country. So I don't know if there's anyone. So the lady with the glasses there, Pam. Pam. Can you? Yeah.
If the new commission...
A lot of positive things have provided really good guidance. But our view would be that yes, we recognize that we're not tackling all the issues, that we are not able, that, you can go to a code of practice produced by the CRE, you can go to a code of practice produced by the DRC, and they'll be different because they're addressing specific issues. It would be helpful to look across and look at all the issues, because any one of us, we may be black, may have a disability, may be a woman, may be gay, may be old, and so forth. So there are similarities in some of these. So it would be helpful, because at the moment it's very confusing.